Alright, so we're going to start this video at the end of the video. Little short story on that. My internet is down right now, so I don't know when I'm going to get this video out to you guys. Hopefully the sooner the better. But as you can see, the engine's in. Today is Monday, the day I released the video, and I needed to pick up engine oil and filter and some coolant. So I did all that. I just got to put the oil and filter in for the first run and then drain it out and put in the good oil. So well, follow along, see how we made it this far. Well guys, it is a beautiful morning in Valhalla, Alberta, and happily I got my parts. So I got the left and right engine mounts for a 318. I got the 10 thou undersized rod bearings, new intake manifold gaskets, which I may use, and the proper size head gaskets. All that stuff took a little over a week to get. And so here we are back on Sunday, a week later. I haven't touched anything on the 318, and it's time to get to it because I would love to have this thing running tonight. Let's see if we can do it. Look at that beautiful bit of sunshine. Like I said, it is a gorgeous Sunday morning. It's about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to set you guys up and we're going to get rolling. I have got to turn on my sonic cleaner, ultrasonic cleaner. And we're going to give it a few minutes to heat up. And put it up to about 60 degrees, and once that heats up, I'm going to run it through probably about a 15-minute cycle. I've had the pistons soaking in there the whole time, and I don't know if that's good for them or not, but with the new rod bearings, I'm not too worried. I just want to make sure everything's just cleaned up, and then we'll clean it all up with some compressed air and some breaking parts cleaner, lube up the connect the piston pins, and we're going to start dropping pistons into this engine behind us here. But before that happens, like I said, it's going to have to run through a cycle, so I am going to change the connecting rod bearings on cylinder number 7 that I installed already. There he is, down the hole, and bolt on the engine mounts, and probably clean my oil pan. That's what I didn't see. I didn't find my oil pump pickup tube. Well, gotta reuse one because we're out of time. Yeah, I didn't receive my oil pump pickup tube. I knew there was something else I was waiting for. Dang. Well, we'll save that for the 340 when it's time to rebuild it. It'll get a nice new oil pump pickup tube. So here's our left and right engine mounts. The right hand side one is the same as the 340 and 360. The left hand side one, however, this is the 340 360, this is the 318. Super uncool Dodge. So randomly, I grabbed that first piston. I didn't look at which hole it was, and I'm just like, that's going in number 7. And I know you should do better than that. Because when guys do machine shop clearances, if they do it correctly, they size each hole per piston in the kit. Not just, I have 8 pistons all the same, I'll make the bores the same. That doesn't work that way, because each piston has a slight variance. Anyway, I wasn't too worried about that, because this 318 does have some miles on it, even though it's in great shape, so I was going to have the clearance I needed. But I picked up my second piston, and it had a 2 written on it. I'm like, oh, I never even looked at the conrods. It had a 2 stamped on it. I'm like, okay, well, I'll put that in position 2. And so I looked at number 7 that I put in, and it actually has a 7 written on it. So we're luckily doing things correctly. Alright, all 8 pistons are in. Now I'm going to quickly pull the oil pump apart and just give it a quick cleaning. And that's the new oil pump. Put my oil pump pickup tube on that I already cleaned, and then put the oil pan on, seal it up, roll over, and get the cylinder heads on. Alright, so I didn't pull my oil pump apart. I figured with my luck lately, I better just leave it alone. But I did pre-prime the oil pump and flush anything out that could be in there. So that's something. Oil pump's torqued down 30 foot-pounds, 45 foot-pounds on the connecting rods, if anybody's interested. My oil pan gasket is glued in place, and pickup tube's installed and leveled out. This should be a bolt-on. I am not using my windage tray. Kind of sad for me, I wanted to. But there's a slight height difference somewheres on the 340 versus the 318. And I don't know where it is. So I'm not going to play around and start messing with shimming things while I'm trying to get this engine together. It can live without the windage tray. We're not going for max RPM with this engine. Not by a long shot. And for a saddle style oil pan, I like to start a couple bolts on either side of it. Make sure they're good and down. It'll help everything slowly start to crush, because these are big rubber lip seals here, and they need to kind of crush and conform in. So that is the plan right now. Start all the pan bolts by hand, and then tighten them down. I think torque is only 10 or 11 foot-pounds, but with the cork gasket, you kind of gotta go a little bit by feel. You don't want to tighten too much and crush and crack the gasket. But if you tighten too little, it's just going to leak. And honestly, I'll have to go back and re-tighten all of these pan bolts at least once or twice when the engine is in the car, because they're cork, and cork kind of doesn't work very good. And as for the general condition of the oil pan, how it looks all beat to heck, and you guys would remember in my last video I did some welding on it. That's these marks here and back here, installing my my baffle. But I'm not worried about painting it just yet. I would like to get it in the car, have everything organized and figured out, and then I'll take a brush and paint it. I do want to get this together. This pan and the gasket sat for a little while I was messing around with the windage tray. Once I figured out that wasn't going to work, I was kind of don't have a lot of time for, like, I don't mind letting RTV set up for a little bit before you assemble things, but my happy is just to be ready to assemble. I am going to have to trim these little nubs a little bit. Makes it easier getting the socket on, that's for sure. There we go. We don't touch it anymore. There we have it. Bottom side of engine is done. Alright, so next step up is to wipe down the surfaces of the cylinder heads over there and the deck surface of the engine block. Once those are cleaned up, it's time to put cylinder heads on and torque them down. But first, lunch. Alright guys, we are getting close. Lunch has been taken care of. And now it's time to get down to business. We're going to get this top end assembled, and quick. Stay tuned. here it is. It's a few hours later, about 5 hours, I want to say. It's around 4:45. I started working on this thing at 10:30 in the morning. And about 4-5 hours later is when my battery died on the camera, and that's how long it took to get it fully charged. You would think I'd have bought a new camera battery by now. Anyway, it's together. Clutch is on, rear frost plugs are in, engine mounts, like this thing, spark plugs are in it. Like this thing is pretty well ready to go. I took a few minutes and swapped out the oil cooler lines in the engine bay and flushed the oil filter relocation mount. Got rid of the old oil filter. I adjusted my clutch release bearing in there. This thing's been giving me a weird little squealy noise, and I've noticed that my clutch is up near the top of the travel, and I don't like that. I like it low, like almost right off the floor basically. And anyway, we're gonna try that. Every time I've measured, I've always been at the right spec, so this time I didn't measure because the right spec was top of the travel and I could feel the clutch starting to slip at times. So this time I know it's going to at least be fully engaged. My only hope is that it fully releases as well. That's the only unknown. But I'm not too worried about that. I kind of know where the measurements are and everything, so we're in pretty good shape. But I'm going to have my coffee, and then I'm going to stab that engine in that engine bay one more time. So, flash forward ahead another 4 hours. The engine's in. I firmly believe that my camera battery is dying a very haggard and slow death. It gives me moments of, hey, we're working great, and you can record hours of footage, to you get like 15-25 minutes. Anywho, I am down to two things: put in oil and filter and put in coolant. I saved the coolant from pulling it out because it was brand new, but The container I thought I grabbed was supposed to be the clean one, and I did not grab the clean one, and I was in a hurry to get it out. And anyway, I am going to filter it with a furnace filter, and that will help catch the big chunks. Maybe the little chunks too. Coming out nice and clean. I mean, aside from the junk it's caught. And really, I don't feel too bad about missing out on the footage for the install. Because frankly, you've seen me install engines of this car multiple times. It's all the same. Yeah, not bad, eh? Look at the junk. Look at that. Tech tip of the day. Furnace filter. Filter your coolant. It will thank you. This oil is nothing special. This is literally the cheapest thing I could get at the parts store. I'm going to partially fill my oil filter just to get the membrane wet, basically. And then fill the engine. Let's see how much of this leaks out while I'm putting the oil in. Oil filter on. So this is a 5 quart system in this car. The capacity, it's like 4.9 liters, or basically 5 quarts. I've got oil cooler lines going to the oil filter, and it's a larger than the stock oil filter. So I'm gonna add a total of an extra half a liter to the system. And then we're going to leave it at that. That'll get me close to the capacity. Alright, float bowls are full. That's interesting. What do you want to bet I got it 180 off? I'm just going to crank the engine around while I feel for compression on cylinder number 1, and then we're going to set that up on the needle on the timing marks and adjust our distributor from there. Yep, coming up. Yep, I got it 100. When I was working at Chrysler all the time, I was working on the Magnum 5.9s and 5.2s lots. And boy, whenever I had to pull a distributor or put an engine in, it was like almost ritualistically that I would put it in 180 degrees out no matter what I was doing or how I was trying to think about it. Just my luck. Back on. Just get the cap back on. Don't drop that. somewhere right around there. Almost forgot my half bottle of zinc additive. Alright, now we should have some better luck. Yes. Just got oil pressure. Just got oil pressure and it died. Give it just a tiny bit more. Oh. 45 pounds of oil pressure at idle. I'd say that 318 likes that camshaft. Alright, I'm going to run this for about 10-15 minutes, get the thermostat open, and once that's done, shut her down, drop the oil and filter, put in my better oil and filter, and this thing's ready to hit the road. Alright, there we have it. The startup oil is out, new filter. I got my 15W40 in there. It's just shell rotella, nothing fancy, but I like it. And I'm ready to see if my clutch adjustment is going to work. Clutch works. Guys, after a long and arduous, painful process, my car is back on the road. Welcome to my 1967 Dodge Dart. We'll see how long this lasts. Big cam, small engine. That sounds pretty good to me. Feels good. Drives pretty nice. That's it for this episode of Days of Glory Shop Works. Hope you all stuck around and enjoyed it. I'm going to go enjoy my car. See you on the next one.